Now to discuss that match with us, we are now joined by our cricket analyst Sunil Gavaskar, live from Hamilton. Sunny bhai, the first question, and a very obvious one: how long can India hope to chase with just one batsman performing?
Absolutely, that's the other thing that India really needs to look at, because rather than looking at the Duckworth Lewis or whatever method, I think what they've got to look at is the combination that they are putting on the field, and if they want to save the series, because now if they lose the one day in Auckland, they've lost the series. They've already lost the #1 ranking by losing today, but they've got to look at the combination. I think 5 bowlers is not quite the combination that is working for India, because of the fact that you're playing on foreign pitches. I think India needs to strengthen its batting. They need to take one more batsman in the playing 11.
Right. You say bring in an extra batsman. In that case, would it be best to bring in Stuart Binny, who would also compensate for the lack of a bowler in the team?
Obviously, because unfortunately, unlike the time when India won the World Cup, when a lot of its batsmen could also turn their arms over usefully and actually pick wickets, keep the runs down, like a Yuvraj and a Suresh Raina, and even a Virendra Sehwag and a Tendulkar, who were there in that World Cup team. This particular squad doesn't really have that kind of luxury. Yes, there is Raina there, Rahane, Rohit Sharma, Dhawan. They hardly ever bowl, and Virat Kohli is pretty inconsistent as far as his bowling is concerned. So I would think that India needs to look at somebody like Stuart Binny, who can bat at 6 and bowl a few overs as well.
So, despite his average performances, MSD chooses to stick with Ishant Sharma. Clearly, he sees some kind of potential in the fast bowler. Do you see that too? Because an average cricket fan like myself fails to see anything like that.
Well, see, what was evident today was that relative newcomers like Bhuvneshwar Kumar and Mohammad Shami had worked hard and had practiced the Yorker and were getting it right more often than not. On the other hand, Ishant Sharma has been playing for about 5 or 6 years. We never ever see a Yorker from him. So it is either that he is unwilling to learn, unwilling to accept that the Yorker is a better delivery than the length ball where he gets hammered for sixes and boundaries. And if that is the case, then yeah, sure, you've got to maybe look at somebody else who can come in and try and stem the flow of runs. I also accept that with the 4 fielders only outside the circle, it is tough for any bowler to have the kind of economy of 5 runs and over or 6 runs and over. That is pretty much out of the window now in today's cricket, with the 4 fielders only outside the 30-yard circle. So I understand that the economy rate will go up, but the fact is that often, with Ishant giving away so many runs, the match slips away from India's hands, because suddenly the momentum shifts to the opposition, and they then successfully score runs against the other bowlers as well.
Now, in Test cricket, Sunny, India has been struggling while playing abroad. Do you now see that trend spilling onto the one-day format too? Dhoni and his team have now, after all, lost 4 overseas ODIs in a row now.
No, I don't think so, because India has got the capability. I think they've got to get their combination right. I think the combination is such a crucial aspect. And with the World Cup just 12 months away, I think we've also got to look at options. We've got to look at options in the sense that we've got to look at guys who might come in and be able to do the job. Now, you've got a few players in this squad. Now, if you're not going to give them an opportunity, or if you're not going to break them in, as they say, then you will certainly struggle to break them in a crucial match in the World Cup. So I think this is now an opportunity. An opportunity has presented itself to India now, having lost 2 one-day internationals, to maybe look at some other options in their playing 11.
You say make changes, but will the skipper make changes? That is the big question, because we've now seen it that MS Dhoni is a bit reluctant to make changes. Ambati Rayudu is a prime example, who's been travelling with the team for a few tours now, yet doesn't get a break into the playing 11.
Well, what about Amit Mishra? He's been a tourist. He's been going with the teams for one-day international. Doesn't get a look in, despite the fact that the spinners are not being successful overseas. Now, a leg spinner might be able to bring a different kind of variety into the team. He could go for the same number of runs as the other spinners. But unless you try, how are you going to know? What you're seeing with your current attack is that it's not been able to stem the flow of runs. So you've got to look at different options.
Right, that's exactly the question I asked you. Is MS Dhoni a reluctant skipper when it comes to chopping and changing? And I understand that some captains can be a bit rigid while some are more open to changes. Is that correct?
Yes, I think so. I think, look, every captain has his sense of belief about certain players. You can't really change that. You need somebody in the management who is strong enough to suggest to him that that kind of belief is not necessarily always good, that there has to be a little openness, there's got to be a little flexibility. For example, there was always the talk about when Sourav Ganguly was the captain, that he did actually rate left-hand spinners all that well, because he would smash the left-hand spinners into the stand just about every second ball. So therefore, he did not rate left-hand spinners. While left-hand spinners, there were some very, very good left-hand spinners who could have, bowled India to a lot more wins. But because Ganguly did not rate the left-hand spinners, not a lot of left-hand spinners actually flourished under his captaincy. And so therefore there are captains who probably feel a reluctance about a certain player. But it is here that the team management, the coach, and the selection committee, they have to come into the picture and they're going to try and convince the captain what is good for the team.
Right. Very interesting point you make about captains and their biases. But is it that easy? You've been a former captain, a member of the management team, interfering with the playing 11. Does it go down well with the captain?
No, he shouldn't be interfering. These guys should not be interfering with the playing 11. But they should be trying to discuss this with him and to therefore try and convince with their arguments why a certain change in strategy, a certain change in options is needed. I think MSC is the kind of person who I believe is very open, and he would certainly want the best for his team. Because look, no captain likes to go for players who are not good, because no captain likes to cut his own feet. Why would a captain cut his own feet? He has to be therefore convinced by the selectors and the coach about the options.